Juni, Scientific Director of Ontario's COVID-19 Science Advisory Table. Dr. Juni, I know it's, as always, a busy time for you, so thank you for yours today. Your thoughts on these numbers, a bit of a decline, but we are nowhere near out of the woods.
Oh, we need to be aware of that. You know, these numbers are cyclic in nature through the week. So basically Monday, Tuesday, you will see a decrease, and then it starts to pick up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So don't get your hopes up. This is absolutely normal. What you said before is important. You know, it's twice as much as a week ago. That's the right comparison. So look, the point is this will continue, and we need to really, all of us just help to stem against that now, stem against this wave. And this really means everybody just needs to change their behavior now. And what is important is to realize we have a new figure on our dashboard. Go there, have a look, just Google Ontario dashboard. Under current COVID-19 risk in Ontario by vaccination status, you see the extent of protection afforded by 2 doses of the vaccine against infection, hospital, and ICU admission. Go and look this up. And what you see is that for infection, this curve of protection just plummets down. We are yesterday, that's what you see right now still, we're about to update it. We were at 51% protection. Today we're at 45% protection. It's important to realize the vaccine most likely continues to protect well against hospital and ICU admission after 2 doses, but forget about protection against infection. So people out there, be careful now. It's not the same as for Delta anymore. And you can't just use a rapid test to think, okay, I have a rapid test, it was negative, and now everything is okay. This virus is far too dynamic.
Okay, I'm glad you explained all of that to you, because I did look at that chart, and it literally, to use your gestures, it takes a steep dive down. And what I heard you say is that is after you've had 2 doses, your chances of being, really ill from this isn't great, but you need that booster. That's what I'm trying to say. You need that booster, right?
You need that booster to be protected also against infection. You probably are still relatively well protected against hospital admission, etc. But be aware of that. We will only, based on this chart, only be able to tell that for sure, perhaps after about 10 days, because there's a delay between infections, obviously, and hospital admission. So I hope that the curves that you see on this chart, you will see an orange and a yellow curve if you go there, hold steady high up. That's great, flat right now and high up at 95% or so. I hope it stays that way. But it's really the one against infection plummets, and it starts to plummet when Omicron took over the province.
If you cannot get a booster for whatever reason at this time, the lineups are too long, you don't have the ability to go, there are still things you can do. Masks are so important right now.
Oh, everybody needs to do all of that. Even I just received my booster on Saturday. I was lucky. My wife was able to manage something for herself and for myself. But look, the point is, even if you have had the booster, our risk of infection is decreased only 4-fold. We compare that with what we had as protection just a few weeks ago against Delta after 2 doses. There, our risk was decreased about 9-fold before, 6-fold to 9-fold roughly. So you see, the point is always we need to do a combination of measures right now to stem against this tide, to hold steady, sort of, and that's not go to crowded spaces anymore. Forget it. No? Okay. Have good masks, of course. Make sure every place is well ventilated. Make sure that you use rapid tests wisely. But rapid tests used wisely doesn't mean, okay, I do a rapid test today, tomorrow evening I go to a party with 50 people. Forget it. It doesn't work that way. No, right. It's about just having a small group of people, 5-6 people, stay safe together. They were all careful before. They didn't party around, from one party to the next during the week. They all have at least 2 doses, and they have a negative test right now. And then they say, okay, we know it's not 100%, but we come together and we're really, safe in there. Yeah. If you are more than just 5 to 6 people, you really need to continue to have masks and etc., because it's simply not safe enough. We know from Omicron now, rapid test negative, 3-4 hours later, it would become positive, but nobody knows. No?
Dr. Juni, I want to ask you, finally, about a column that was in a Toronto newspaper today that singled out the Ontario Science Table and some of your colleagues for, quote, changing your positions, whether it comes to rapid tests or booster shots, basically slamming the Science Table, claiming it's been wrong or contradictory. I want to give you this opportunity to respond to those claims.
Well, to be honest, I didn't read the column. I heard it remotely this morning, so I don't know who was accused, etc. What I can tell you is that the science table, I'm not talking about the science table, I can't talk on behalf of all the scientists in Ontario and all the physicians in Ontario, has always had consistent positions. So what we did, if it comes to rapid testing, we worked with a lot of colleagues in the province, and we got a brief out on rapid tests a few weeks ago that is unfortunately obsolete now because it's not Delta anymore but Omicron. And probably the other part was booster shots. We never said anything related to booster shots apart from, in a science brief, apart from us, all of us, including, for instance, Andrew Morris and myself, pushing, for booster shots, and they're really just now making sure that things are moving forward now that we see that the vaccine effectiveness decreases after 3 months after 2 doses. So people can scapegoat us, but it simply doesn't correspond to the truth.
Well, and I also think it's important to point out that the science is evolving and the research is evolving, and we have to pivot when needed.
Look, we have too many hobby epidemiologists out there who just, including clinically active colleagues, I have to say, but also journalists who just think, they got it. And, I've done that for 26 years. This is really new what's happening here, and we just need to be aware of that. It shifts pivots very, very swiftly. This is evolution in real time, what we're seeing. And what was true 6 weeks ago is wrong today. Why? Because the virus evolves. It's relatively tremendous, actually.
Dr. Peter Juni, if it wasn't happening, it would be so fascinating to see this, right? Yeah.
It's exactly as you say. If it wouldn't be so challenging and tragic, it would be fascinating.
Dr. Juni, again, I appreciate your time as always. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, Dr. Juni is the scientific director of the Ontario COVID-19 Science Advisory Table.